is Robyn Nelson of Wrestle Popcast with my co-host
David Stockwell with DemoBlastStudios.com, and we are joined by none other than
the Highlander, Rory McAllister.
How you doing, guys? Nice to meet you.
So what have you been up to lately?
Life has taken a dramatic change for old Rory. I went from walking around New York City trying to get to know America to running an airport and kind of aviation now, but I'm still got my hands in the wrestling business, still keeping my eyes on everybody, see where I have to be and see what I can do, you know. So I got some stuff. I'm coming back into business here soon and get some things set up.
All right. Tell us about you showing up over at Battle on the Border in December 21st and December 22nd.
Yeah, I was contacted by Mr. Blevins over there, and I put some feelers out saying I was ready to get back in. You know, I was looking at some companies, and his one kind of popped up. It was one that a few people close to me had told me about, and he reached out to me actually and asked me if I wanted to go over and kind of see what they were about, kind of what they were up to and everything else. So I decided that December 22nd would be my first appearance in, well, nearly 4 years actually. So I'll be there. I'll have the kilt in hand. I'll have the fur on. I'll be ready to go. So I'm excited to see what the locker room's like and see if anybody's ready to step up.
And plus, you're the only real Scottish man that was ever stepped foot in a WWE locker room.
I was the first, yes. There's obviously Drew McIntyre right now who's doing a great job, and I'm very proud of him. But I was the first person from my country to ever sign with WWE, and that was my goal. When I left home, I left the country, I lived in a car for years. You know, me and my cousin traveling state to state, everything else. But the goal was to be the very first person from my country to sign, and I'm very proud to actually manage to do that.
So what was it also like to get in the ring with the late Roddy Piper?
Yeah, Piper was a good man and a good friend. Absolutely my best wrestling memory was my first tour with WWE was back in Scotland. I hadn't been back home for 8 years. And it was me, my cousin, Roddy, and Flair against the Spirit Squad at the time. I know, trust me. And it was 18,500 people there, and I was introduced by Flair and Roddy, and we came out to just a hellacious pop. And after the match, Roddy backstage just gave us the biggest hug and said he was so proud of us, and that set forward, obviously, a lifelong friendship for both of us. Unfortunately, his didn't last as long as we wanted it to, but Roddy was one of the most genuine human beings I'd ever met in my life, and I think his career stands on its own. I really do. There would be no Ric Flair without Roddy. There would be no Hulk without Roddy. I mean, he's just, for me, he is the greatest wrestler of all time.
You know, Roy, you achieved something that so many men and women in the industry have been unable to do, and that is you made it to the big dance. You know, you made it to the big time. You know, if you would talk to our listeners and viewers about, you know, what a young wrestler needs to do to position themselves to not only be seen by WWE, to potentially to get hired by them.
All right, this one is actually a lot of the young men and women here have been asking me this question today. You have to have a knowledge of psychology. You know, everybody takes that as psychology just to the match, which is obviously singular and important, but it's the psychology of the show. Look at how this show's been booked, especially on the independents. Look at how the show's being booked. The last 2 to 3 matches, can I cuss here? Is that okay? The last 2 to 3 matches, that holy shit chant, great. They've earned that, is why they're in that spot, you know? And I'm not saying nobody else should get it. What you should be looking for is that reaction, the first few matches building up to, you know, did that just happen? Was that real? I mean, no kayfabe is practically dead, but you can give them that moment, that singularity where they go, Jesus, did that just happen? Stop working the same bloody joint. You know, work yourself back. Aaron always told me, if you're working the arm, why are you staying on the bloody arm? Like, get them down, hit the leg, hit the gut, hit the head, drag them forcibly back into the middle, then work the arm. You know, stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff that's just been lost because people are looking for that gymnastic, beautiful moment. It's not all about that. The other thing I was told, this was years ago by Shane Helms, he said, everybody has a job in WWE. The reasons they don't get there is, number one, they don't hold on. They don't have faith in themselves. They don't stick it out. And number two, they don't bloody ask. You know, and I had that in my head. We worked for WWE for 2.5 years as enhancement talent. We traveled all over the bloody country. And I walked up to Vince one day and I said, I want a job. You know, like, hire me right now. I've paid my dues. I've been living in a car for 5 years. I've done everything you've asked me to do. I want a job. And he said, I'll never hire you. I can put any guy in OVW in a kilt, and they tell them a Scottish crowd will love it. And we come back. He said, I'll give you one more shot. So they booked us 3 months out. We come back. By that point, with the big beards that everybody's adopted nowadays, for Christ's sake, we walked in there with the beards, fur boots on, the kilts on, everything. And Vince is like, you get 7 minutes. He's like, show me what you can do. And Robbie's like, what are we going to do? We're working Capitelli and the Miz. He said, we're going to kick the shit out of them. Just plain and simple, we're going to go in there, we'll let them get their stuff in, but we're going to beat the shit out of them. We get signed the next day. A faith in yourself, an understanding of the business, understanding of the card, and then just doing your job, man. It's your job. You know, we were lower mid-card guys, but we were utility guys. They had us on Raw, SmackDown, ECW. They had us on everything. They had us going all over doing promos and everything else. If you can be that guy, your job's there. Just don't quit. Don't stop.
No, pretty obviously you still have a deep passion for professional wrestling. You know, I think most people that get bit by the bug, no matter what happens, you know, the life's roller coaster ride, you always come back to it. The friends leave, women leave, whatever the case may be, wrestling's always there, for better or worse. Obviously, you were part of a pretty damn memorable tag team. In modern day wrestling, obviously there's been a de-emphasis on tag team wrestling over the years, but of the landscape right now, are there any teams that really stick it on your mind that you see and like, you know, those guys got it, they're damn good, they've got potential?
Yeah, I like Sanity. That's what it's called, right? It's yeah, it's friends of mine, Jeremy from up in Ontario. I think they're really good. I just don't think they're getting the push they're due. I mean, honestly, I'm still a big fan of the Usos. They know how to do it right, and I completely love the New Day. I can't help it, man. How can you not love them? These guys were given something that should have been finite. It should have been something that came and went overnight, and they owned it. They took it, they accepted it, they owned it, and I think it was a rib, to be perfectly honest with you. What are we going to do with these 3 guys? Well, let's give them this crap, and they made the absolute most out of it, you know? I mean, if you can take something this big and make it something that the whole universe wants to see, then your job's there for life, and I think those guys are doing it. Tag team divisions right now, I still think highly underutilized, but it's a gimmick match. I mean, you can't do it all the time. I just think you need a little bit more depth. Not really getting behind the Luke Harper and Rowan. I'm not a big fan of the new gimmick. I think it's been done to death, you know. But I think there's always going to be great tag team wrestlers come in, and there's a couple of good guys here this evening actually. So you know, Jay Coleman here and Scotty, I think are great guys, and they work very well together. I don't know if it's where they want to be, but they actually work very fluid as a tag team. So,
you know, in addition to getting back involved in ring, you know, just from sharing some conversation with you here for a few moments, I mean, would you ever consider, you know, a training situation or a training role in wrestling?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it would have to be, you know, obviously the right deal. I mean, I've got a very successful career right now, and I love my career in aviation. But wrestling's always something that's going to be with me. You know, I like spreading my knowledge. I don't need to get paid for it, you know. I mean, obviously, it's the business. You want to get paid. But, sure, you know, just having these young guys come up to you and ask you stuff like that, you know, I like sharing that. But if the situation ever arose, it could be a full-time gig and it got me back in the door, absolutely, yeah.
Robyn, any final thoughts?
Yes, I do. Speaking of Robbie, do you still talk to him today? And how'd you guys come to be, and how was your chemistry in the ring together?
Robbie is, I talk to Robbie all the time. He is, my ex-wife used to call him my heterosexual life partner. We get back off the road, we'd be on the road for 6-8 months, and you know, we get back home, and we'd end up being right back in the car the next day. I had moved over from Scotland to Canada, and he had started doing like a gimmick. He was Robert Graham Kirkcaldy or some crap like that, and he wanted to be the Scottish guy, and he's like, well, shit, I can't do it. If you're going to do it, you're a legit Scottish guy. I says, well, why don't we do it together? That's never been done. And he's like, all right. And it was almost immediate. You know, we started living together. We started training together. We moved into the wrestling school, so we were there 24/7 training. And we just, you know, we went on the road after 3-4 months. Went out through the Maritimes, out through Ontario, to the West Coast, and into the States. And I will never know anybody that I will trust or love as much as Rory McAllister or Robbie McAllister the rest of my life. He is my brother, you know. He's my cousin in gimmick. He's my brother in life. But I still talk to him all the time. I actually spoke to him 2 days ago, and he's still as wild as ever. He's freaking nuts.
So do you guys ever think about getting back together in the ring anytime soon?
We both do a lot of traveling with our jobs. He's all over the world also. But believe it or not, he asked me about this whole thing in Battle on the Border. And he's interested in kind of putting it back together. I mean, he's still in good shape, you know. I'm getting there. I lost all my belly. I put a sizable belly on for a while. I had a bad back, but my back's completely healed up. I've been doing DDP yoga like 5 nights a week. And I need to get a hold of Dallas, because I'll tell you right now, that stuff is legitimate. I could not tie my own shoes, and I was hurting, and I can bend and touch the floor. I can do whatever you need me to do. So yeah, it's something that he is now actively searching at. And I think you'll see the Highlanders in the ring here pretty damn soon.
Maybe at Battle on the Border.
Yeah, you never know. I love surprises, you know.
Thank you so much for coming on, giving us some time.
Yeah, you're absolutely welcome. I appreciate you guys' time, and stay tuned, guys. We'll see what happens for you. Highlanders will be back for sure, you know.
This is Robyn Nelson for Wrestle Popcast.